Good morning, everyone. My name is Scott Morris. I am the Director of Business Development for GTS Distribution. I am very happy to have you all with us today. It's kind of a short week here in America because it's the July 4th holiday, or as our partners in Britain call it, Trader Day. But we're looking forward to having a really good conversation today. So today we are joined by one of our exclusive partners, and actually one of our hottest exclusive partners right now in terms of sales and how things are moving very quickly with their games. We're joined by Board & Dice. We have Rainer and Irek here, and they're going to be talking about a couple of specific games and a brand as well. So there's a lot of games that Board & Dice covers. The two specific ones we're going to talk about today are going to be Dust in the Wings, which is an absolutely phenomenal game to demo in your store and teach people because it is so quick and it's so easy to learn and it's so beautiful in the meeples and the board and how it looks. It's a very eye-catching type thing. This was a new release for them right around the UK Games Expo Origins timeframe. So we'll talk about that. And for attending here today, any of the GTS retailer customers are going to be eligible to get a free demo copy of that for your store as well. There's nothing you need to do on that. What will happen is at the end of the webinar, we have all the registration information from Zoom, the software here. We'll be able to see who pre-registered, who was here live, and then we'll get that information over to your GTS sales rep to set that up for you guys. The other game we're going to talk about is one of the most anticipated games for the year. It was actually on Tom Vassel's list of top 10 anticipated games for 2019 overall, and it was number 4. It's called Sierra West, and I won't steal any thunder. I will let Rainer and Irek tell you about it. It's really, really awesome. And then we're also going to talk a little bit about Strawberry Studios, who you may or may not have heard of before. Strawberry Studios used to be a small studio that was part of NSKN Games. And then last year, Board & Dice merged with NSKN Games, and obviously part of that was Strawberry and that line coming in to be part of the Board & Dice family. But we have some pretty big stuff going on with them right now, a very big marketing push happening with them. We also have a sale to talk to you about later today as well with that, which is going to be good too. So with that, I will just remind everybody, everything is on the table. You guys can ask whatever questions you would like to. If you do have a question to ask, you can open up your chat bubble window. If you hover over the video, there's a little chat bubble at the bottom. You can click on that and you have the option to either send a message to all the panelists, which would be myself, Rainer, and Irek, or you can send it to all panelists and attendees, so all of the retailers that are in attendance can also see the question as well. But either way, let us know any questions you have along the way. I can stop the guys and let them know any questions that come up, and we can take care of everything. But we have a lot of awesome to get through, so I'm going to take my mouth and shut it up, and I will let Rainer take over with a beautiful presentation. So, Rainer, the floor is all yours, my friend.
Awesome, thank you. So, as Scott was saying, we're going to be talking about a couple of different things today. And the first thing that I'd like to talk about is Sierra West, which is a release it's going to be released August 1st is the date on that. And let's see here. Sierra West is it's an action programming, worker placement, and resource management game, and it plays 1 to 4 players. And what you see here is basically the box and also the component list along with the game setup that will be visible on the back of the box. One of the things that makes this game really unique is that there are 4 different modules that are included in the game. The way you learn the game is all of the basic rules for how you play the game remains the same, but then you can use one of the different 4 modules, and you always use one of them, but you can choose which one you would like to use depending on the experience that you would like to get from the game. And as you can see here, the 4 modules are Apple Hill, Boats and Banjos, Gold Rush, and Outlaws and Outposts, all centered around the theme of the American frontier and the Western United States. In the game, there are 2 key aspects, and on the left side here you will see what is basically the player board. And at the top of the player board are slots for 3 different cards. On your turn, you will always have 3 cards in your hand. and you can shift those depending on which order you would like to use the actions in. When you slot them into the top of the player board, that creates two different paths, a green and a tan path, of different actions that you can take during the game. Some of those actions are common ones, like gathering resources, stone, wood, food, and gold. Other ones are actions that you can take to move your pioneers up the mountain that you see on the right side, or moving your wagon across the wagon trail that is at the bottom of that mountain. And the reason why you do these things is there will be cards that you can acquire from the mountain, which also acts as a timer. As you can see here, there are 5 of the cards that have a little apple symbol. And when those cards come down, they will go at the bottom of the mountain. That acts as a timer of the game. The more cards that are being taken from the mountain and added to player decks, the quicker the game is going to go. But you also want to make sure that you take other actions to acquire buildings, to trap animals, and so forth, all centered again around the theme of the American frontier.
Democratic to draw districts in such a way as to guarantee electoral outcomes in perpetuity. Right, that's not democratic.
I think we have somebody who is not muted, so we need to take care of that here. If you are on the call and you're not muted, if you could mute, that would be great. I think we got it. Okay, sorry about that, Rainer.
That's okay. So basically, the different things that you do at the beginning of a turn, you always program your 3 cards, deciding in which order you would like to take the actions. And each card has 5 different action spaces on them, but only 9 total among the 15 that are represented on the 3 cards that you have. Only 9 of those actions will be available to you each round. So it's important that you decide carefully in which order you would like to take them, and as well as which actions should be visible. As far as the worker placement aspect, at the top of the card, and also as you can see here on the left, at the top of the card there are 3 spots for your workers after they have progressed across the action tracks, where they can now go. You can place them there, pay resources to advance on 3 different scoring tracks. And then, of course, the resource management aspect comes into play with regards to how much resources you have available in order to progress on the tracks, to acquire the buildings that you need, but also, as you can see on the right side, to progress your wagon across the trail. And you want to progress the wagon as far as possible for a couple of reasons. The farther you go, the greater your multiplier of the points that you're going to score at the end of the game is going to be. So as you can see at the beginning of the trail, you're only scoring 1 times whatever the scores are, but at the end of the track, it's a quadruple modifier. But you also want to then ensure that you have the resources for other things as well. So this is a game that we're very excited about. It's going to be released at Gen Con, and it's going to be available to you as well around that same time. And it's a very short play time. A game takes between 45 and 60 minutes to play. And again, the different modules in the game, they allow you to have a very different experience. The Apple Hill module, which is the one that is depicted here, which is the recommended starting module, that one has a very balanced approach for the different aspects of the game, whereas some of the other modules might focus more on either the mountain itself or progressing along different tracks. And there will be, for example, the boats and banjos, instead of having the apples at the bottom of the mountain, there's now a river where the players can go fishing as another resource or as another source for gold. In the gold rush, there's then instead a mine where the players are trying to acquire gold and so forth. So that's a little bit about Sierra West.
So one of the things that I wanted to bring up real quick, I just added it into the chat for everyone. If you have time to take a look at it later today, there's a phenomenal video about Sierra West from Heavy Cardboard, who, if you're familiar with them, they are reviewers that usually do meatier, bigger, more strategic games. And it does a great job of covering everything in the game there, which is awesome. I personally had a chance to play Sierra West for the first time at Gamma this year, earlier in March. And I did actually play with Heavy Cardboard. It was with Jess and with Ed, and Rainer was there. And it was a game that Ed and I both love really heavy games. Like Teotihuacan, which is another game from Board and Dice, is one of our favorite games to play because it's just very meaty, it's very strategic. And about 15 minutes into Sierra West, Ed just kind of, he took a turn, he put his 3 cards out, and then he realized he made a mistake, and he's like, hang on a second, before I do that, I'm going to do this. He goes, yeah, this is better. I was like, you're good? He goes, I'm good. At the same time, we both looked up at each other, and he's like, this is good. I'm like, yeah, this is really good. So there was definitely one of those, like what I call these aha moments of, there's so much more than what's just on the surface to this game that it was like super, super fun to be able to see that. So just wanted to let everybody know I put that link into the webinar chat. So if you want to click on that to get to the Heavy Cardboard video, you can do that as well. So.
And if I can highlight something, I want to also tell that Rainer told us that there are 4 modules in the game. Of course, they put they put elements like innovative movement, action programming, resource management, and multiple usage of the cards. But we also want to tell that we are planning to support the game, and we are working on 4 next additional modules. And we want to bring the new audience as well using those modules at the end by inviting known authors for those expansions we are planning to release for the game. So from one part, the game gives you, I think, a lot of brain-melting decisions and strategies to play. The game is very replayable at the same time because each scenario gives you a little bit different approach to the game. Plus, we are planning to invite new authors and new player communities to the games as well. Plus, I think on the top, we can add that we have also a solo mode for this game. And this also can be kind of important for geek gamers or people who likes to play the solitaire models as well.
Yes, definitely. And that's the general idea of the game is that when you learn the game, basically learning it is there are not a lot of different rules between the different modules or even for solo mode. It has a proper AI that you're competing against. So it's a real solo mode and one that lets you compete against an automated opponent instead of, and that's the case for all of the games that we have that include a solo mode, is that it's against an automated opponent and not just a way of scoring a certain number of points or so. So it's definitely something where all of those aspects of this game is going to be very attractive selling points for you as well.
Yep.
All right. Next, let's talk about Dust in the Wings. Now, this is a game that just released. So this is one that is available to you right now. And this is a game where you, first of all, it has a very attractive shelf presence. As you can see on the left, it has a white box. It has a nice UV coating on key features on the cover, and also on the back of the box, which you see on the right side. The back of the box explains in very simple steps all the rules of the game. Essentially, there's a meadow where there are different butterflies, and they come in 3 colors. And on your turn, you choose butterflies from one space, and then you drop them one at a time, Mancala style, onto adjacent spaces. The space where you drop the last butterfly is where you can try to achieve one of 2 different types of objective cards. One objective card, which you see here as an example, is one that requires a certain number and color of butterflies. In this case, that space needs to have 3 blue and 1 yellow butterfly. But there are also different objective cards where the space where you drop the last butterfly needs to be part of a pattern where maybe in a row or column of 4 spaces, there should be 17 or more butterflies and so forth. The game is very straightforward. I mean, basically what I explained to you now is the whole rules of the game. And it's very simple to sit down and play. Again, it's a game that it doesn't take very long, 30 to 45 minutes to play. And it's really geared towards both casual gamers and more strategic gamers. And one thing that is very nice about the game is that it actually gears itself towards that type of player, depending on the experience that they're looking for. More casual gamers, they will more naturally steer towards the objective cards that are described here on the back of the box, of achieving a match with a certain number and color of butterflies. Whereas more strategic gamers will choose and weigh their options as far as the two types of objective cards in deciding which one might be more beneficial for them. And without any additional complexity, it's one that works very well for a wide range of different types of gamers, and also one that can be played with younger gamers as well. The other thing that is really nice, and this is especially applicable for you as retailers, is that the game has a very nice table presence. This is one that would be excellent if you have a table where you set out games to show them off. As you can see here, at the top you have basically renderings of what it looks like, but also at the bottom you have what the game would look like when it's set out. Again, very, very gorgeous artwork, nice looking painted custom wooden butterflies, and so forth. And again, this is a game that is it should be easy to explain. And one of the nice things is that this is a game that if someone is looking at it, you can immediately explain to them using the back of the box exactly how the game is played, and it takes no more than 30 seconds to basically go through and point out and show exactly what I showed you. So it's something that is an easy game for you to sell and to demonstrate, and that also looks really, really nice to have out as well.
Oh, we have another two photos of the game as well. And basically in Europe, this game also sells pretty well in the retail because, as Rainer said, the presentation of the game is very nice. And I have a lot of voices from our partners that they are setting this game near the entrance when they have a lot of audience with kids. And basically, it can be a really good intro to the hobby in general, because when as Rainer said, when you are playing with casual gamers, you are naturally focused only on the butterflies and on the butterfly cards. But if you have a gamer who wants to train his brain a little bit more, you can also add the second deck of cards. And basically, this was also how we played this game with our friends 2 days ago, because we had invited to our office our friend who is a geek computer gamer, and he's also a vlogger. And basically, he wants us to do the introduction for him for board games. And one of the games we put on the table was Dust in the Wings, and we had a ton of fun because of the way how he could enter the game. And he also saw that such an easy game, because the explanation of the game took us about 1 minute, but such an easy game in explanation can be really hard to master at the end. So this is the advantage of the game, I think.
Yeah, one of the most impressive things for me about this game is the Mon-Cala mechanic of it is a very easy thing for most gamers to be familiar with, or at least understand it. But it's a game that I've played with as young as 5 years old, personally, and had no problem whatsoever teaching them. They picked it up immediately. It's just counting and colors, so it's very, very simple. But yet, even playing with like my nephew who's 5 and being able to do all that works. It's still just as fun playing with a bunch of 40-year-olds playing this game, because there's this deceptive strategic thing that happens when you're playing the game, that you're either moving the butterflies and checking the color and the quantity in that square, or you're moving the butterflies and you're checking the proximity, like in rows or columns or surrounding areas. And your brain as a gamer can tend to fall into one of those where you're like, I'm so focused on this that I'm completely missing this opportunity to take advantage of this card and solve that card. And it's been really fun for me to see that with the adult gamer groups going through that and seeing those, again, those aha moments of, oh man, I completely missed this. I have to go this way and this is what I have to do. So it's one of the things that I love about all board and dice games in general, but these two specifically is it's deceptively strategic, which is really, really cool, which means you can approach it, you can introduce it to your friends. I don't know anyone who's going to look at you and say, I hate butterflies. And most people are going to go, oh yeah, that's very cool. Let's like, check it out. So it's definitely a very eye-catching game to be able to share, which is good.
Right. Yeah, and like Scott was saying, that it's also a game that when you set it up, you tend to be very focused on one move and forget to also take into account not helping the next opponent, right? So there's a very nice balance between trying to do really well on your turn, but also making sure that you don't help your opponents too much. I'd like to take a moment just to talk about, especially because we were talking about how the game can be easily explained on the back of the box, and also how it has a very nice table present. I'd like to talk about a game that was released around Gamma this year, and that is Inuit the Snowfolk. And this, again, what you see here is the front cover and then the back of the box. And again, this is a game that it's very simple to explain to someone who's looking at the game in your store. Same thing here. You on your turn, you draw cards and add them to the middle of the table. You choose one of the different actions, which determines which type of card that you can draft. And then you draft a number of cards based on how many Inuit you have assigned to that occupation. So again, this is a game that is easy to explain. It has a very nice artwork, lots of vibrant colors. Again, makes for a very nice table presence. And the other thing that I'd like to highlight about this, and especially I know that this is something that is of concern for us here in America, and a concern that we welcome. I know we spoke to several of you at Gamma, and you asked, okay, well, how is this theme dealt with in the game? And we're very happy to let you know that this is something that we did consult with Inuit, both with different Inuit organizations and individuals, to ask them about the artwork and the representation of different symbols and so forth in the game, to make sure that it would be done in a respectful manner for a culture that is not ours. And that's something that is very important, and I know that's important for us as individuals and as far as the society goes as well. And it's something that is good for you to know. There is a little mention in the beginning of the rulebook, kind of that process of why we decided to not only do our own research, but also reach out to Inuit organizations and individuals, and also a response from one of them there with regards to feedback for the game. So this is something that you should be aware of, and again, something to highlight kind of our approach to, especially these lighter games, how we like to deal with being able to show at the back of the box an easy way for you to be able to present the rules and to be able to show off that in your store. Now let's talk about Strawberry Studio. And as Scott said in the introduction, so Strawberry Studio is a separate line of games, and they are all family games. And the key aspect with regards to these games is that they take one mechanism and focus on developing that in the game. And then there's a game built around it to be appealing for families, to be something that you can play with casual gamers, something that you can play with children. All of them are geared towards that audience, and especially younger gamers. Now, they are not necessarily kids games, but rather family games, because it's something that is still enjoyable for adults to play. The two games that we have that are the most recent ones that are out now is Bon Appetit and Mount Rushmore. Bon Appetit is a game where you are, it's a game where you're bidding for different dishes. And in each of those dishes, they have different point values, as you can see at the top of the card. And they're different types. So it might be side dishes, desserts, some of them are main dishes, and so forth. And you will be bidding for these. It's a secret bidding using gems. And at the beginning of the game, these gems are going to have different values. And the winning bid will, any of the gems that were used in that bid. So let's say that I bid using red and yellow gems. Red and yellow would now decrease in value, whereas the unused gems would increase in value. So it's a very simple mechanism of trying to balance the value of your gems with how many points a particular card is going to score you, as well as some of the bonus effects that you might get from them. By acquiring a certain card, you might get a bonus when you're bidding for desserts or side dishes, or they might give you a bonus when you're using a specific color of gems. And again, easy, approachable. It has that one mechanism that it focuses on, coupled with beautiful artwork, and in a package that you can easily play with both young and casual gamers. The next one is Mount Rushmore, which is a spotting game. You will have a grid of 16 cards, and of course this focuses on Mount Rushmore and the 4 presidents on the mountainside. And as you can see here, the grid of 16 cards represents all of the possible ways that the faces could be either turned to the left or the right. And then simultaneously, everyone is going to try to find the card that is being flipped over from the deck. So a card is flipped over, you're trying to find the card that matches exactly how the presidents are facing on that card. Whoever spots that correctly first will get that card, and that counts as 1 point. You're trying to score 3 points to win. Now, some of the cards in the game also might have one of the faces in red, and that means that now you need to find that particular face pointing the opposite direction. So it might be, let's say, the card that is depicted here at the top. But what if Lincoln's face was in red? That means that you would want him to be looking towards the left instead. And there are also cards to add where there will be 2, 3, or even all 4 of them that will be in red for an increased challenge. So you can, again, play this with just the basic cards that do not use the opposite facing idea, or you can introduce one or several of those to make the game more challenging. The other game that we have that is coming out later this year, so this is our October release, is called Rescue Animals. In this game, it focuses on endangered animals. And again, as we've talked about before, but it's important to highlight, is that you'll be able to explain the rules from the back of the box of all of these games. In Rescue Animals, there will be a number of cards that are laid out in the middle of the table that represents the animals that the players are trying to rescue this round. Everyone will then simultaneously be rolling their dice. Everyone has 1 black and 4 white dice, and you'll be rolling those as quickly as you can, trying to match the dice requirements that are listed at the bottom of the card. Now, some of them might have a very simple requirement, like the black die has to be a 2, and then 2 of the white ones, you need a 2 and a 3. But some of them might be more challenging, where the black one has to be a 5 and all of your white ones have to be a 5, giving you various numbers of victory points. The more challenging ones are certainly worth more victory points, but then there's also the idea of how many of a particular type of card there are. Some cards there's only 1 of, whereas other ones there might be as many as 6 of them. And those, the more numerous they are, the fewer points they're worth, but you also get bonus points for every pair of those animals that you have collected. There's also information in the rule book about these animals. You can see there's on the cards, it lists in general their status of whether they are endangered or if it's a critical status. And more details are also listed in the rule book. So this is again a game in the Strawberry Studio line that takes one aspect, one mechanism, focuses on that, and builds a game around that. Previously, there have been several games that we have added to the Strawberry Studio catalog. And up through this year, we've been releasing 2 or 3 every year, but from now on, there will be one game that will be released and added to the Strawberry Studio portfolio. And the reason why we release several every year up until now has been to build a catalog of different games. So there might be a game, if someone is interested in a dice game related to animals, well, Rescue Animals is a good fit. Maybe they would like a food theme. Well, then Bon Appetit is a good fit. So that catalog of games that we have right now, there's a variety of both different themes and mechanisms to make it easier for you to find games that that people might be enjoying, and especially those that come in and look for something either now during the summer when people are on holiday and vacation, and they're looking for something quick and easy that they can take with them. All of them come in a relatively small box, which means that it's easy both for you to display it in your store, as well as for people to be able to take that with them when they travel, or otherwise to be able to get the game to the table.
Yeah, so basically several advantages. Like you can treat those games as a entrance to the hobbies for families, because basically, as Rainer said, each game focuses on one mechanic and explains this mechanic to the public. The next thing is the size of the game. The size of the game is our core focus for this line, because it needs to fit in your backpack, because this game needs to be small, needs to take less place in your shelves, and of course needs to be in this size which can approach to be packed in the backpack, as I told, and basically families can take them with them during the holidays, right? And at the end, we also focus in the whole Strawberry line to build a larger portfolio of the games, because what we have showed you today, it's only part of the whole line. Now we have more titles in it. Right now, we want to focus on taking only the gold rush from the games and putting them in our offer. And we want to increase the knowledge of the brand, because still Strawberry Studio will be a brand line in Board and Dice whole portfolio. So this is to explain you a little bit more. This is not the separated company right now. This is treated as a line of products in the whole Board and Dice portfolio.
So also, I will tack on to that, and we just set this up yesterday. So this is all in place, and it's really exciting. So if all the things you've heard about Strawberry aren't enough to make you want to bring it into your line of games in your stores, then this probably will be the tipping point to get you over to it. So you're going to start to see, from a retail marketing perspective, GTS will start to do marketing this week, and it's going to continue basically from July 1st, so this past Monday, until August 31st. We're going to run a very special promotion around the Strawberry titles. All of them except for Rescue Animals, because Rescue Animals is not coming out until later this year in Q4. Yes. But Mount Rushmore, Bon Appetit, Scare It, Black Skull Island, all the different titles that are available in the Strawberry line today, we're actually going to offer them to retailers at half the cost to the retailers. So if your normal cost is, say, $11 for the game, then you'll be able to get that for about $5, which is amazing, because at a $20 MSRP, it's a huge margin uptick for the retailers to be able to sell a game that is kind of an impulse buy, something that, during the summertime, as families are coming in and picking up games and looking at games as they walk by your stores, $20 is usually, kind of like bottled water to gamers. So it's really easy sell. But being able to get so much more margin out of it for that is a great opportunity. So, and quite frankly, we wouldn't be able to do that if it wasn't with the support of Board and Dice. So they're helping us from a financial perspective to make that happen. So it's a great opportunity for all of y'all. It's something that's available right now. So if any of you, as you're listening to this, want to contact your sales reps and put any orders in for any of the Strawberry titles, they'll be able to set up your pricing on that to give you 50% off. And that's just absolutely amazing when it comes to margins. So really, really excited about that. I think it would be a good thing for everyone to be able to introduce to their community and their gamers and their stores with a great line that is just super fun across the board.
Yes, that's totally true. Basically, our main goal here with this promotion is to build the awareness of the Strawberry Studio games. We really believe that they are very cool, very nice, and they show how you can approach to a modern board gaming, like which elements are important in modern board gaming, and in a fun and easy way that you can invite other people to our community.
Jessica actually just put in, Jessica Klansky, who's our sales director at GTS, she put in a link to all the Strawberry titles that are available right now from GTS. So you can click on that link. You can put orders in either directly online, of course, or you can also contact your sales rep. And as she mentioned there, the prices are adjusted when they're invoiced for you. So, but again, it would be half of what your normal price is. So that's really, really positive stuff. So, and thank you, Irek, and the entire Board and Dice team for helping us with that to make that a reality for the retailers.
Our pleasure. Thank you.
And that's basically the things that we wanted to talk about today. If there's anything that you have questions about, be it some of the games that we've talked about today, Sierra West, Dust in the Wings, Inuit, or any of the Strawberry Studio games, we're happy to take your questions. Also, if there's anything else that you are interested in with regards to previous titles or other ones, we're happy to answer any of those questions for you.
Just as a reminder too for retailers, probably the title that most people are familiar with Board and Dice over the last couple of months, just due to the sales volume of it, has been Teotihuacan, which has been a just extremely successful game since about maybe, I guess October is when it was released last year, right? So just
yes, basically the street date was October 2019.
Yeah, it's been phenomenal. It's been easily one of the evergreens for us in terms of sales and volume of everything, but the game itself is also phenomenal and great. There's an expansion that's going to be coming out as well called Teotihuacan, the late pre-classic period. We are already taking pre-orders for that. Board and Dice will be at Gen Con. They're going to be previewing it there, and we'll be releasing it shortly thereafter. But that's another reminder too, is that if you are one of the retailers that gets the opportunity to actually get away from the store and go to any of the shows, Board and Dice is going to be at Gen Con as well. They're actually going to be part of our booth. GTS is going to have a very big active player network booth, and Board and Dice will be there as part of it with their own area. So if you want to come and meet the guys and say hi and say hello to them, that's a great opportunity as well. And Aaron Stackhouse gets +1 bonus points. That is the Witcher Silver Sword almost.
This is not the silver one. This is not the silver one, but you were very, very close. This is the second one, the steel one. Yeah.
The steel one, yes. Very good. Very good eye, Aaron. That's very good.
Yes. Very good eye. Basically, yeah, what you can learn about me, I am a super geek and fan of The Witcher, of all the universe. So, yeah, so basically, this is why I'm collecting all the items related with The Witcher.
That's awesome. And just to make sure that it was answered, I know it was answered in chat, but just so everybody knows, there was a question about the MSRP of the Strawberry Studio games. The vast majority of them are $20. There are a few from a couple of years ago that are still in inventory that are $10. So they're a little smaller MSRP, a little smaller physical game as well. But those are also part of the sale as well. So if you have any need or demand for any of the older ones, those are part of that sale as well. So yeah, great opportunity with that. Awesome.
So guys, basically I have also one request. If any of you will have any question or would like to ask something specific about or our games or basically about Strawberry Studios, please feel free to contact GTS. And basically we have a very good communication with GTS. I am with Scott. Basically, we are talking daily, right? So
yes.
Exactly. So we will be happy to answer all the questions and give you all the information you need.
Yep. I just put my email in as well into the chat, but if anyone needs to ever reach out to me, I'm easily found. It's smorris gtsdistribution.com. I accept emails, carrier pigeons, smoke signals, and free games. So, so awesome.
And same thing. If any of you are at conventions and so forth, please stop by and say hi to us. We're always happy to spend time with you and to talk about our games or whatever it might be. So,
excellent.
Exactly. If you have any concerns and you want to share them with us during the conventions or in regular contact, just feel free to contact us.
Awesome. All right. It doesn't look like there's any additional questions. Great information from Jared. That's good. I'm glad it was very helpful, Jared. That's good to hear. As always, we will record these and put them online. So if there's anything you missed or anything you want to go back to, we'll have that online hopefully later today, depending on the YouTube gods and how nice they are to us in terms of upload speeds. But definitely want to take a moment, thank all the retailers for joining us. I know, especially in America here, it's kind of a short week with the July 4th holiday, and it can be kind of crazy this week. So really do appreciate y'all taking the time. If you are at Dice Tower Con, I hope you have a lot of fun. Rainer is actually there. He will be attending Dice Tower Con. So if you're there, Rainer will be there and you can say hi to him. Irek, Rainer, thank you also as well for taking the time and also putting in play the financial piece for the retailers to get the additional margin boost on the strawberry titles. That's a great opportunity for them. And I think it'll be very rewarding financially for them if they take advantage of it, which is good. So awesome. Gentlemen, thank you so much. Retailers, thank you all very much. Until we see you next time, we hope you have a great week in your stores. Have a happy and safe 4th of July if you're celebrating it in the US. And we'll see you all soon.
Thank you very much, guys.